In terms of the issues that we've been focused on this week, I want to give you a brief update of what has transpired really just within the last week. Last Thursday, the Intelligence Committee held an open hearing with the Acting Director of National Intelligence. The following day, Chairman Engel issued a subpoena to the State Department in close consultation with myself and Chairman Cummings. We are deeply concerned about Secretary Pompeo's effort now to potentially interfere with witnesses whose testimony is needed before our committee, many of whom are mentioned in the whistleblower complaint. And we want to make it abundantly clear that any effort by the Secretary, by the President, or anyone else to interfere with the Congress's ability to call before it relevant witnesses will be considered as evidence of obstruction of the lawful functions of Congress. And more than that, will allow an adverse inference to be drawn as to the underlying facts. That if they are going to prevent witnesses from coming forward to testify on the allegations in the whistleblower complaint, that will create an adverse inference that those allegations are in fact correct.
Sir, can we talk about the text messages that included holding off a visit to the
White House?
The one
text message that I saw was just about the last text message, because I don't even know most of these ambassadors. I didn't even know their names. But the text message that I saw from Ambassador Sondland, who's highly respected, was there's no quid pro quo. He said that. He said, by the way, it almost sounded like in general. He said, by the way, there's no quid pro quo, and there isn't. Now, for Biden, there would be, but listen to this. There is no pro quo. And that was the text message that I saw, and that nullified everything.
Now, let me make something clear to Mr. Trump and his hatchet men and the special interests funding his attacks against me. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going to destroy me, and you're not going to destroy my family. I don't care how much money you spend, Mr. President, or how dirty the attacks get. Trump knows there are no truth in the charges against me. None. Zero. Every independent news organization that has reviewed the charges at length has found it to be a flat-out lie, his assertions. Every single one of them. What I did in Ukraine was carry out the official policy of the United States government to root out corruption in Ukraine in conjunction with our European allies, the International Monetary Fund and its leader, our closest democratic allies, and the courageous reformers in Ukraine who I met on the ground when I was there multiple times. It was a fully transparent policy carried out in front of the whole world and fully embraced by the international community of democracies.
With mounting evidence he solicited foreign interference in the 2020 election, President Trump is changing his story, insisting he's now more interested in rooting out corruption than investigating former Vice President Joe Biden.
I don't care about Biden's campaign, but I do care about corruption. His campaign, that's up to him. Politics, that's up to them. I don't care about politics. So we are looking at corruption. We're not looking at politics. We're looking at corruption.
But that's not how the president laid it out the day before, when he directly called on Ukraine and China to dig up some Biden family dirt.
It's a very simple answer. They should investigate the Bidens. By the way, likewise, China should start an investigation into the Bidens, because what happened in China is just about as bad as what happened with Ukraine.
Now the president is claiming he never thought Biden would win the Democratic nomination.
I think he'd be an easy opponent. But I never thought Biden was going to win. I don't care about politics, but I do care about corruption.
And Mr. Trump could not answer whether he was seeking corruption probes in foreign countries that don't include Democratic candidates.
Have you had foreign leaders for any corruption investigations that don't involve your political opponents? Are there other cases where
we would have to look.
So far, at least one Republican is not buying it. As Utah Senator Mitt Romney tweeted, by all appearances, the president's brazen and unprecedented appeal to China and to Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden is wrong and appalling. But Romney is mostly alone in the GOP. Florida Senator Marco Rubio tells CNN affiliate WFOR Mr. Trump is just trolling the media.
I don't know if that's a real request or him just needling the press, knowing that you guys were going to get outraged by it. He's pretty good at getting everybody fired up, and he's been doing that for a while. And the media responded right on task.
That may explain why the president is confident the Republican-controlled Senate will hold its ground and keep Mr. Trump in office if House Democrats vote to impeach.
They have no choice. They have to follow their leadership. And then we'll get it to the Senate, and we're going to win. The Republicans have been very unified.
But the impeachment inquiry has found its way to congressional town halls. Iowa's Joni Ernst got an earful at one in her state.
Where is the line? When are you guys going to say enough?
Yeah, good question. So,
Aren't you breaking the law asking for foreign help?
The president is also not answering whether he had violated the law. The chair of the Federal Election Commission says the law is clear. It is illegal for any person to solicit, accept, or receive anything of value from a foreign national in connection with a U.S. election. Mr. Trump appears to be relishing his latest firestorm, claiming his battles with the media have invigorated the Christian faith.
I got a call the other night from pastors, the biggest pastors, evangelical Christians. They said, we have never seen our religion or any religion so electrified.
The president is describing the latest job numbers in almost biblical terms.
Asia is doing poorly, to put it mildly, and we continue to do very well with the miracle.
In a strikingly powerful statement, Harry speaks of his deepest fear of history repeating itself. I've seen what happens when someone I love is commoditized to the point that they're no longer treated or seen as a real person. I lost my mother, and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces. This as the royal couple continue on a tour of Africa that's been littered with Diana references. Just a few days ago, he retraced his mother's footsteps in these iconic images from an Angolan minefield in 1997. His statement singles out the Mail on Sunday over a claim that it unlawfully published one of his wife's private letters, but he also slams the British tabloid press generally for what he calls their ruthless campaign against the Duchess. The positive coverage of the past week from these same publications exposes the double standards, he says.
I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, and as your sister.
That was right at the beginning of the tour, and the first time we've heard the Duchess identify herself that way in public since she married into the royal family. Each of her engagements has spoken to the same themes of female empowerment and diversity, and everyone who she met appeared to come away inspired. Several images went viral, including this one showing her at a memorial for a female student raped and murdered in a brutal event which has shocked South Africa. And this one of baby Archie meeting anti-apartheid legend Desmond Tutu.
Congratulations on the tour so far, Your Royal Highnesses.
The couple have been upbeat and positive throughout.
You know, I think what's so amazing about being here today is you can see there's so much good happening in the world.
This is a royal couple dancing to their own tune, intimately involved in every aspect of the tour, which is why they came across as so genuine, and that was reflected in glowing media coverage. But the relentless propaganda of the UK tabloids, as Harry sees it, that led up to this tour, hasn't been forgotten. Max Foster, CNN, Johannesburg, South Africa.